I thought I'd mention this. This is a bench that I made last year. Made with the wooden wedges. You know, the joinery is done with a square, then slit, and a wooden wedge driven in. It's the Moravian thing. But this has sat out all winter. I got a little bird crap on it. But this is that pine tar with the ochre mixed in, is what the coating was. The same that's on my UPS box down there. That really works well, but I think part of it, that ochre, which is really an iron oxide, which is really rust. But I think it protects it from the ultraviolet light, is my theory. And that's on basswood, so it's a soft wood, so the pine tar really soaked in, and then that ochre stays on top, you know, it makes that surface coating. That's good, works good. But as long as I'm out here, it's pretty windy, so I don't know, but I wanted to check because it has been like 100 degrees today, and we've had wind for the last 3 days of up to like 50 miles an hour. That's tough on stuff like the beans in particular. Oh, well, when I'm here to mention, this is an oak bench, but that's been sitting out here for well over a year, maybe 2 years, but that's got pine tar on it. But the problem I was having with that hell of a wind, these kidney beans have suffered. Well, they've suffered all along, between fighting with gophers, and then it was so dry a lot of them didn't come up. But now with this wind, there's one right there that is broken off. They would just toss them around. But I'm going to replant a bunch of these. We finally got rain the one day, and then all of a sudden, here's two of them that just popped up. Another one that just popped up. And at least the wind didn't bother them so much, but these bigger ones, they took quite a beating. Yeah, here's a whole bunch of them that have just come up, and they've been in the ground for a long time, but it was just too dry. But even here you can see one little bean, but you can see it's been tossed around by the wind all over. But these big ones in particular, you know, I don't know, like the stems are pushed over. I don't know if they'll come out of that. But these new ones, they're fine. But that hot, dry wind has really beat on them. The corn is doing fine. And the potatoes are doing fine. They are, well, turnips too. But they're all blossoming now, so it won't be long and I can start kind of thinning out and eating. You know, once they start blooming, they usually have potatoes underneath them. And I have been able to keep the potato bugs out of here. I did put the Savin powder on them the one time because I found a potato beetle, and they're bad news. But that Savin does the trick. You know, it's just a diatomous earth stuff. It's like little shards of glass that gets in the joints and dries them out. Now, that's something I got to look at. Here's a potato. Well, one part of it is ate off or broke off. That looks like it was broke off. Still another. That's a good thing, you know, like a lot of these had froze off when we got that 20-degree weather. But, you know, potatoes got a lot of eyes on it, and they just went ahead and come up again. But the beans, the kidney beans, that's been a battle. But I got seed coming, it'll be here, and I'll replant them. You know, try to fill in, because we're supposed to get rain again, but that dry wind has been a little tough on them. But the corn has been fine. Though you can see everyone is leaning a little from that terrific south wind. But I got, this is a row of popcorn, then the Indian corn, early sweet corn, late sweet corn. So I have plenty of corn. And here is a hole from a gopher, but I think that's probably a gopher I killed because I haven't seen a gopher out here for a while. You know, regular gophers. Pocket gophers, that's a whole other matter. Especially when they're sneaky. You know, I'll have to watch out here and make sure if I see any mounds of dirt heading my way. Because, yeah, see, like here's a hole, but I think what that was, when it rained, all of a sudden, old pocket gophers from last year, their tunnels caved in. I found that when I was rototilling out here, all of a sudden I'd step in on the ground to give away underneath it. It was an old hole. Because last year I had all them pumpkins and stuff in here. Well, pocket gophers got in there and they tunneled all over under there. Because I couldn't see, you know, with the vines, I didn't realize how many of them had got in there. But the potatoes are looking good. But it pays to keep an eye on them because they can turn up all of a sudden. And a lot of times, if you got them potato bugs, you look under, turn a leaf over, and you'll see little groups of eggs underneath them. You know, little yellow dots that are the eggs that when they hatch out, then they'll just wipe the plant out. You have no time at all. And they come on quick. You know, they look good one day, all of a sudden, oh, you know, something wrong, yeah. Well, that's too late. You got an infestation. But I have plenty of potatoes, and I'll have an ungodly amount of turnips. You know, I had to reseed those, though, because I had planted very few of them. They came up, and then we got that dry weather, then that was the end of them. But like I say, we're supposed to have rain, and hopefully it won't be so ungodly hot. And I think, you know, if we get enough rain, I think the new ones that I put in will catch up with these old ones. But you can see, you know, like, I don't know how that's going to come out of that. It's just been beaten on the ground. You know, that's hard on the stem. Yeah, like this one, you're just barely hanging on. So I think that'll be dead. And some had just stripped the leaves off them. I guess maybe it would be better to have a little more windbreak from the south. Now I have planted some pine trees, and that would help. Yeah, everything's got a lean to it, and we still got that wind. But it ain't going bad. But I do spend a lot of time trying to keep ahead of things in the gardens. It's, I bet I spend a couple hours a day working in the garden, you know, weeding stuff and tilling and replanting when I have to. Because I'm sure hopefully some more of these beans will come up, but like I say, I'll be replanting what doesn't come up. And the ones that took too much of a beating. Because I have grown them before, and they work out fine. But I haven't grown them out in the open like this. It was more of a sheltered area where I was growing them before. And even my other garden doesn't catch the wind, but this one, she catches wind from the south. So it's a little tough. But hopefully this will be the end of the wind and that extreme heat. And if we get rain, I think some more of them kidney beans will maybe come up. Because it has been dry and windy and hot. Not the ideal weather for gardening.